Hey guys, it's Elle from Red Over Heels with Elle, and today I am here with a video chatting about all of the 5-star romances that I read this past spring. So I read some amazing romances, and this video has kind of been put off because I've been traveling a lot during the summer, so I haven't had time, and I moved, so I haven't had time to just like sit down and give a debrief of my spring romances that I read. So let's get right into this video. The first book I'm going to talk about is The Chase by Elle Kennedy. So I kind of went on an Elle Kennedy binge in the beginning of March. I just fell in love with a lot of her romances. I really enjoyed The Chase. I had been listening to these series on audio through Audible, and I've just been, I don't know, I'm like falling back into like the Elle Kennedy phase that I was in when I first started reading romances. So this one is a hockey romance, and our heroine, she is just a girl's girl, like very girly, but also kind of like wild in like a fun way. So she's transferring from Brown University to Briar University because she like accidentally set her sorority house on fire. So she's just kind of like crazy in the best way, and she ends up staying with the hero and his friends who are also like on the hockey team, and her brother Dean sets us all up. And she just has this really like fun, quirky personality, and just is like a popular girl, but also like not in a way. And her and the hero have always had like chemistry, but he is just more quiet, and he ended up like saying something dumb at a party, being like, you know, she's not really my type, like I can never fall for her. And so she's kind of like out to get back at him for saying that, and so she starts dating one of his best friends. And it's just like a really fun story where there's like drama, but also like not really any drama. I don't know how to describe it. And it also involves hockey, and once they finally fall for each other and like get together, it is so good. I loved their banter and how like cute a couple they were, and he is also a gamer, so that is like a big thing in the book, and I just really enjoyed this one. I love hockey romances, and I love seeing all of the characters from the off-campus series, so this one is so good. Definitely go check it out if you haven't read it yet. Then I have Where We Belong by Ashley Munos. This is a motorcycle romance, and I love this one. So this is a part of her Stone Riders Motorcycle Club series. This is the second book. This is a hate to love, like opposites attract romance. So the hero and the heroine meet in the first book, and the hero is just like so attracted to the heroine and is kind of mean to her because he is just like so attracted to her and doesn't want to fall for her because he doesn't want to get hurt. So there's like some like angsty, like hate to love tension between them, and it is so good. She ends up having to move in with him because she can't find like an apartment, and there's like stuff going down in the MC club, and there's just a lot of like crazy things happening in this book. But I just loved how like angsty their romance was, and like the hate to love angsty tension they had. He's trying to protect her because she's also like connected to some bad things through the MC, through like her past, and it was just really, really good. I love this one. It's a really fun motorcycle romance series. I really enjoy it. There's a lot of action, but it's also lighter and not as dark as other motorcycle romances that I've read before. So if that interests you, I would definitely check this series out. I have The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. These are all romances I read in March, so I will be talking about like the romances that I read in March, April, and May. So this one is so good. I listened to it on audio, and the hero and heroine work together in the same hospital, and this is a Omegaverse romance. So I think I still don't really understand the whole Omegaverse like world, but I think she's an Omega and he's an Alpha, and they end up fake dating because I think she's trying to like prove to her family that she doesn't need someone to be with, so they start fake dating, and he needs to fake date her because there's a lot of pressure on him as being like an alpha in the hospital right now. And so they like start fake dating, and it is so adorable. I Absolutely love this one. And it was really fun because they actually end up becoming mates, and it is just so cute. And I loved like the world and how it was still like a modern world, like urban fantasy, but it wasn't like too complicated with all of like the Megaverse stuff. And it was just so good. I love this one. It's also very spicy if you enjoy that. I just love this one. It was so good. Then I have the Summer We Fell by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is a angsty love triangle romance, second chance as well. So this one flashes between the past and the present, and the heroine, she grew up in a really bad like environment, abusive environment, and so she, when she was growing up, ended up moving in with her boyfriend's family, who her boyfriend's dad is like a pastor, and they're very influential in this small town that they live in. And so she kind of felt like obligated to date her boyfriend and stay with him for so long because she was, you know, staying with his family. And she starts catching feelings for her boyfriend's best friend, and they're all in this like big friend group, and they always hang out, and there's so much angsty tension between her and the hero, and it is so good. I love this one. There's so much drama and like angsty secrets that come out, and it flashes between, again, the past and the present. And in the present time, she is a big time like singer and artist, and the hero is a surfer, and they see each other for the first time in like 10 years, and there's still that angsty chemistry, and it is really, really good. I don't want to say too much because this one does deal with a lot of like secrets being unfolded and like a lot of drama, and so I want to kind of keep that on the DL. But it is such a good romance. I love this one. It's so angsty and just like kind of like throw like the book across a room type read. I love this one. I listened to it on audio and it was amazing. Then I have the Grip Trilogy. I finished this trilogy in April or March. I love this series so much. I talk about it so much on my channel because I just love it so much. So this is a second chance angsty romance, brother's best friend romance. So the hero and heroine met when like years ago, and they had this connection, but something happens and they don't follow through with like this spark that they had. So now it is years later, and the heroine is going back to LA where her brother and the hero live to work as their publicist, because her brother and the hero are artists. Like, I think the hero's a rapper, and her brother, I don't know if he does like music production, or I don't really remember, but they have so many feelings for each other, and she does not want to fall for him again because he kind of like, there's this miscommunication where she thought he betrayed her. And it is just such a good romance. It's second chance, super angsty. It deals with also a lot of heavy topics, so definitely check the triggers before you dive into this one. But I love it so much. It's so good. I love this series. It's one of my favorites. It does deal with a lot of like heavy topics, like I said, like police brutality and heavy discussions on race and interracial relationships. And I just love this romance. It's so good. Definitely read this series, but it will rip your heart out. It is so emotional. I cried reading both of the books in this series. It is just, it's so good. Definitely go check it out. Then I have The Wolf and the Wildflower by Stacey Reed. I love this romance. It is such a great historical romance, by the way. Like, if you want to read a really unique historical romance, I would check this one out. So our heroine, she has been dressing up as a boy her whole life because her father doesn't know that she is a girl, and he had always wanted a boy to kind of carry on like their legacy. And she was like, I think their first child too, like they had a lot of trouble getting pregnant and whatever. So she has been like cosplaying as a boy her entire life. And so her dad is like a mental health physician during this time period, and so she goes along with him on calls. And so she goes to the hero's house, and he is a duke, and he had just come back from being in Alaska for years, and he was actually missing in Alaska, and he does not know how to like reacclimate himself to the world. And so his mother had called on the heroine's dad and her to like come check him out and help him reacclimate. And so the hero and the heroine start spending time together, and he knows right off the bat that she is a girl. And he's like, I can smell the sweet scent of you. And like, I love that. And he is so like alpha coded, and I just love him so much. He is so like gruff and like hard around the edges, and I just love his character. And it is so interesting seeing him like grow and reacclimate with society with her. And it's just such a good romance, and they have to figure out how they're going to be in society because she is known as like a guy, so they have to figure that out. And it's just so good. I love this romance. It was so fantastic. And I have Secrets and Masks by Emerald Slytherin. This is a Dramini fanfic. It is so good. It's hate to love, angsty, and so much more. I love this one. This is definitely a dark romance, so check the triggers before reading this one. But I love it so much. So Hermione is a part of the Order, and she has this like big battle scene where she ends up getting kidnapped by Draco Malfoy and taken to the Malfoy Manor as a prisoner, and they are using her as like a weapon against the Order. And so she is like kidnapped and taken as prisoner in his house, and they absolutely detest each other. But as the book goes along, you see them like opening up to each other, and like, oh my god, this book is so good. I loved seeing their angsty chemistry and how they would kind of crack like their characters. Like, you know, she would play this not like play the part, but she would just always like hate him, but then she would see cracks in his personality of like him being a good person at certain points. So I just love it. And once they finally give in to each other, it is so freaking good. Like I still think about this book to this day. It's one of my favorites of the year. Love it so much. And I have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is such a great small town romance. I love this one. This is the first book in her newest series, and it is amazing. So the hero and heroine have known each other 4 years, and the hero is actually best friends with the heroine's brother, and she's coming back to a small town after being fired, even though she was like assaulted by a coworker. And so she is just like really down in the dumps and like really depressed, and is going back home to kind of figure out life. And the hero is a billionaire, and he lives in the small town, and he found out that he has a 12-year-old daughter because he actually donated sperm when he was like 19, and this is the product of that donation. And she needs someone to stay for, I think it's the summer. Like her parents are going through some stuff, and so he is like, yeah, of course you can stay with me. So he's figuring that out. And then Rosie, the heroine, is coming into town, and he's like, if you need somewhere to work, like you can work for me, get some extra money. And so they're now having to work together, and they have so much chemistry, so much banter, like A+ banter. It is just such a great romance. I love this one. And he is a little bit older than her, and it's just such a great small town romance. And I loved seeing the relationship between Rosie and his daughter, and it was just like a laugh out loud book, and I love this one so much. And I have Midnight Ashes by Tessa Hale. This is the second book in this series. This is a Dragon Shifter Why Choose Romance series. I absolutely love this one. It is so good. I love all of the different characters, and I just love this fantasy series. It is so good. If you haven't read it yet, you should definitely check it out. I don't normally love Why Choose, but the series is amazing. And I have the Prince of Broadway by Joanna Shupe. This is a part of her I think it's like Girls of Fifth Avenue series, and this one is so good. So the heroine wants to be a casino owner, and so she goes to the hero trying to ask him for advice and like lessons, because he owns a casino, and he's like one of the most famous like men in New York City. And so they start doing like lessons together, and they start falling for each other. But during this time, like, it's very distasteful if a woman is, you know, trying to open up a casino, and she loves to gamble and like play poker and do all of these things that are considered men things. And I just love seeing her break out of like the social norm. And this one was just so much fun, and in exchange for the lessons, like I think she has to like go on a date with him or something, but I just loved this romance. It was just so good. And I love in historical romances when women are taking on roles that are traditionally, you know, men take on those roles, and I just love seeing like gender differences in this romance. It was just so good. I love this series, and I also have the Roga Fifth Avenue, which is the first book in the series, on this list, and that one is another amazing historical romance. The series is so good. I need to read like the last book, but if you want a really good Gilded Age historical romance, I would check out the series because it is spectacular. And I also have The Devil in the Deep Blue Sea by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is another amazing romance. So the hero and heroine have to go on a family vacation together because the heroine begrudgingly agreed to go on a vacation to Hawaii with her ex-boyfriend's family, and her ex-boyfriend brother is the hero in this romance, and so they have to like be around each other all the time, and they absolutely detest each other, and it is so hilarious. But they end up having to like be nice to each other because they're going on this trip together, and her ex-boyfriend isn't on the trip yet. Like he got like stuck somewhere, I don't really remember, but they have to do so many like funny things together. Like they go on a hike, and she has like asthma and she needs her inhaler, and he's also a doctor and she's a famous singer. So there's just all of these like moments, and it's so angsty, and there's such a spark between them. But she's like, I can't go there, like this is my ex-boyfriend's family, and like all of this stuff. It is so good. I just love how Elizabeth O'Rourke does angsty tension in her romances. This one is so amazing. I love it so much. Very picturesque because it is set in Hawaii. And I have A Week to Be Wicked by Tessa Dare. This is another historical that I absolutely loved. This one is really fun. So the hero and heroine are going on a road trip together because the heroine is a scientist, and she's trying to like visit this like scientific convention thingy. And so they end up going on this road trip together, and they get stuck in all these sticky situations. Like at one point they have to pretend to be brother and sister at like an inn. And it is just so funny, and I love it so much. There's just so many like laugh out loud moments in this romance, and they just, it's like forced proximity and kind of like dislike to love. Like he kind of annoys her, and it's really, really cute and funny. And I just loved seeing a woman in STEM in a historical romance, and it was just really fun. I really love this one. I listened to the audiobook of it. It was just spectacular. And I have Skies Over Caledonia by Samantha Young. This is a part of the, I always forget the name of the series, the Highland series by her. And this is the 4th book, and I love this series so much. It is so, so good. And this is a marriage and convenience romance, second chance, tons of angst, chemistry, forced proximity. They have to live together, and it's set in Scotland. And I love this romance. I am now kind of giving tropes because I'm getting tired saying like the whole synopsis of the romance, but I just love this romance. It is so good. If you want a really fantastic romance that is marriage convenience, set in Scotland, really, really good and angsty chemistry, forced proximity. It's also age gap. I think he's like 10 years older than her. Then I would check out this one. I have Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. This is the newest book, like series. This is the newest series, and this is the first book in the series. And this one is so good. It's like kind of grumpy sunshine, small town romance. So the heroine is trying to fix up her old familial house, and the hero is working on the house, and he is actually an ex-FBI or CIA agent, and something really bad happened to her family where they all passed away, and that happens in the prologue. And he is kind of working with her and is kind of like enamored with her, and just they start having this like really great banter and friendship, and it is so good. And he's very protective over her, and I just love this one. It's just so cute. And I love like the grumpy sunshine aspects of it and how they had to work together on this rebuilding the house and how protective he was over her, because of course there's some suspense in this one with her past coming back up. And I also love the family aspect of this one because her family is all made up of like foster siblings that they all got adopted by her best friend's mom and their family, and it is just so cute. I love this one. So good. I'm actually reading the second book currently and it is amazing, and I am just loving this series. The last book that I read that was a 5-star romance was the Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. This one was so much fun. I love like a fun bantery romance. So the heroine Diana and the hero live in the same apartment complex, and she cannot stand the hero because she just thinks he's a frat boy, loves to party, and so they end up having to fake date, and it is just so funny, and I love this romance. He is also a hockey player, and she does, I think, like ballroom dancing, and so there were a lot of scenes where they had to work together for her like ballroom dancing because they made that deal to fake date. I think if he would help her with ballroom dancing, like, and she's trying to win this competition. But there's just so much banter in this one that was hilarious. Diana's very type A, and I just love seeing the heroine kind of melt for the hero and just see her open up to him. And this does deal with some domestic violence from a previous relationship that Diana had, so definitely know the triggers. Like check the triggers before diving into this one. But I love this book so much. I listened to it on the audio. It was amazing. Just so good. Elle Kennedy can do no wrong in my eyes, and I just adore this one. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing me chat about all of the 5-star romances I read this past spring that I'm obsessed with. So definitely down below let me know if you have read any of these, or what were your 5-star romances that you read in the springtime. I would love to know, and I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in long conversations, oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you